think that AI it's here. I was a teenager in the late 90s, but I remember the dot-com boom. I mean, the internet changed the world in a way no one ever imagined.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is really the dot-com. I don't hold to all the things that all these experts are saying. It's going to do all these things. But from what I've done and accomplished, even in 4 or 5 months, it's not going away. Like, just start to play with it, start to get comfortable with it, ask it questions. I mean, ask it the most crazy things that you think it won't know the answer to, and obviously check it, because I've caught mistakes and things that I wouldn't do or say or whatever, but it's been a great place to bounce ideas out there and get some quick web searches. And I mean, it's way beyond Google. So I encourage everybody, just start playing with it, because it's not going away.
What's up, everybody? This episode is sponsored by ExitWise. If you're a business owner thinking about selling your company, whether that's now or years down the road, you need to know what your business is actually worth and how to maximize that exit. That's exactly what ExitWise does. They help you prepare, position, and ultimately sell your business by assembling a world-class team of M&A experts around you, guiding you from valuation all the way through closing. If you want to know what your business is really worth and how to increase that number before you sell, go check out exitwise.com and get ahead of it.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I am here with David Smith. He is the CEO of Summit Cabinets, and we're very excited to hear about his business today. David, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, David, just to start with, so I'm curious about the journey with Summit Cabinets. So maybe give the audience a little bit of your background and then how you kind of landed where you're at with Summit Cabinets today.
Yeah, so I kind of was a late bloomer in about 2007, 8, 9, somewhere in there. I went back to school in my late 20s and got a 2-year degree in mechanical design. And then bumped around manufacturing for a while. I did some sheet metal design and water filtration and different things where I really honed my CAD skills and project management skills. And then in about 2014, I got involved with a company that did museum casework, museum displays all over the country. And that's where I kind of really got interested in. We did sheet metal work, but we also did quite a bit of woodworking, customized woodworking, things like that. Worked for them for a while and ended up leaving there and went to a firm that did kind of the same thing, but for restaurants, both high end and low end. Some names you would know: Outback Steakhouse, Wendy's, Tim Hortons, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then the company, unfortunately, was run pretty badly. I only lasted about 9 months there, but I had the itch to kind of go out on my own for quite a while. And that was kind of the impetus there. The company was just so badly run. I'd never been treated so harshly as an engineer. And so I had a few freelance customers on the side doing cabinetry drawings and things like that. And with the encouragement of my wife, we started in my basement and chopped my salary in half the first year. And a year later, a partner of mine came on board who was at that company where I met him. And then we started a kind of a millwork company with a shop and everything. That was like 2016, 2017.
Okay.
And then we went after the museum work, but we went after a special niche, which my owner at the museum place had always suggested the guys go after. They never did, which was children's libraries. So we took the same concept for interactive displays and educational items and took them to the children's libraries. And wholly unprepared for the business side of things, didn't really understand quoting, didn't understand bookkeeping, didn't understand taxes, didn't understand all of the whole other layer that comes with that. Fortunately, we had a CFO friend of ours, semi-retired, that really helped my wife and I. She helped her with the bookkeeping, getting everything straight, and helped me as an owner to know how to quote, how to read profit and loss, how to do all that stuff. So it took us about 3.5, 4 years. We finally found our market. And about a year later, COVID hit, and all the library projects ground to a halt. So,
Gosh, man.
yeah. So nobody could have seen that coming, but kind of joined forces with another friend of ours, and kind of went basically sort of soft sold to him, I guess. We sort of merged. It was kind of a very informal arrangement. After about a year, I decided that was it. I didn't want to work for anybody ever again.
Mm-hmm.
That was Central Ohio. So my wife and I had always wanted to move south. And so we moved to Tennessee and found a small residential cabinet shop for sale here. And then we've grown that from quite a bit. It was a mom and pop shop. They did a great job. They've been in business like 15 years. But we've tripled what they were doing. And this year we're going to cross I think we're going to finally cross 2 million this year. So
Wow.
It's taken us a while, but I'm big on, of course, we were still dealing with COVID shortages even in that. And then I had to learn residential cabinetry all over again. I didn't know residential. I knew commercial really well, but not
right.
commercial, or not residential, I apologize. So, here we are 5 years later, and we're crushing it. This is going to be a good year for us, I think. So we've got a lot of good things on the horizon.
This episode is brought to you by Pierre Tax and Accounting, led by CPA Eric Pierre, a seasoned accounting and tax expert with years of experience helping individuals and businesses navigate complex financial landscapes. Whether you need personal tax planning, business tax strategy, bookkeeping, or financial planning support, Eric and his team are committed to helping you protect and grow your financial future with clarity and confidence. To get expert guidance you can trust, check out Pierre Tax and Accounting at pierreaccounting.com. This episode is brought to you by my friend Silas Lagoy over at ForgeMark Wealth. If you're a high-income business owner or professional and feel like you're getting crushed by taxes, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. ForgeMark Wealth specializes in advanced legal tax strategies and wealth planning designed to help you keep more of what you make, grow it efficiently, and actually build long-term freedom, not just income. If you're making serious money but don't have a real strategy behind it yet, I highly recommend connecting with Silas and his team.
Man, that's so cool. Quick side note, did you say you moved from Ohio?
Yep.
What part of Ohio were you in?
Central Ohio. I grew up there. Yeah.
Okay. My wife's from Cincinnati. That's like south, I think, right?
It's out there about 2 hours, about 100 miles away.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a cool area. But Tennessee is great as well. So obviously y'all have scaled things up a bit. So from where y'all stand now, how many people do you employ? Obviously you talked a little bit about revenue, but what's kind of the size of the company scaled up to in terms of employees and just number of jobs you're doing, I guess?
Sure. So the previous owners were doing about $450 a year on average, and they had 2 employees plus themselves, so it was 4 people. We've grown it to, I think we're 12 with us.
Okay.
I don't do anything in the shop hardly ever, and I am getting to the point where I'm almost not even going on jobs anymore. My installers and field guys handle it. I kind of check on things, but I don't really do much of the work. The office work is what we do mostly. My wife does the books and the accounting, taxes, and then helps with project management. And I have an office manager who does a great job of purchasing and a lot of different things there. I have 1 designer, and then I contribute there some when needed. And then in the shop, I've got 2 installers, and in the shop, what do we have? 5, 6 people out in the shop, something like that. In fact, we're about to add at least 1 more. I need a second painter. That we're posting that job this week, and then I may add another builder this year too. It just depends. We've hooked into some big projects, so we're trying to see where those land to know what we need. So,
okay. When you say a big project, maybe give me an example of what that would look like, because it sounds like you're doing mostly residential.
Yeah.
Are these just like large homes, residential homes that are new builds? Is it remodels? Is it kind of any and everything? What's kind of a typical large project look like?
So what I'm working with a gentleman, this is a really unique situation. I'm working with a gentleman who approached me a couple of years ago from California, and all he does is broker deals between GCs out there and cabinet shops all over the country. I know he's got places in Oklahoma and I think South Dakota and
Wow.
obviously Tennessee and some other places, but he goes in, does the measurements, talks to the GCs, and lands these things. And we did a pretty sizable one 2 years ago with him, like 150 grand. This one that he just brought me, they want the same shop to do all 4 projects, and all 4 projects are going to be on the order of 2 to 275 a piece.
Wow.
So
Okay.
fairly large for us. I mean, it's a pretty big residential project. Our average, we bump around between 50 and 100 on average for a custom house, whether it be a remodel or a new build. So, and we try to sell into GCs. So obviously homeowners are fine, but they can't give us repeat work. A lot of times I can get 3 to 5 out of a GC per year. And that's what we've really focused on is repeat business.
This episode is brought to you by 10X Nerds. If you're a business owner doing real revenue, there's a good chance you're overpaying in areas you haven't even looked at. Things like credit card processing, insurance, telecom, and more. 10X Nerds comes in, audits your expenses across 30 plus categories, and finds immediate savings. And here's the kicker. They only get paid if they save you money. It's a complete no-brainer. If you want to keep more of what you make, go check them out at 10xnerds.com. This episode is brought to you by Rakowski Law Firm. If you're a business owner or have built a level of wealth, but you don't have your estate plan dialed in, you're exposed. Rakowski Law Firm helps families and business owners protect their assets, avoid probate, and make sure everything transfers exactly how it should. This isn't just paperwork, it's a real strategy to protect your legacy. If you haven't looked at your plan in a while or don't have one, go to rakowskilawfirm.com.
David, I know you talked a little bit about growth, scaling up, things like that. What specifically is going well in your business right now? What would you say are some current sticking points that y'all are trying to work through?
So the last couple of years, we've really focused on, so the approach I had to take, because, obviously there's so many things to fix and I'm a fixer and I like to get it right. But at the same time, there were so many things to fix. What I tried to do was just kind of I'd work on something and get it good enough for now. And then I'd move to the next thing, get it good enough for now, and kind of bring it all up together. So I'll give you an example of that. So a couple of years ago, I knew that we were going to get a CNC router, which is a CNC router is just, we program all of our parts. The machine cuts out all of the cabinet parts and things like that. It's very efficient. It's cut our part creation time. We're probably down to just 20% of what we used to spend. Something that would take a week and a half. We're doing in like 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah.
Completely done. Plus it's doing a lot of the secondary processing on the machine. So, adjustable shelf pin holes, that kind of thing. That's already happening on the machine. So,
wow.
So I knew that we were going to go that route eventually. So what we did was we really focused on our design software. And originally we were just drawing the projects and kind of just getting the drawings out to the shop. But we really started to explore like what that software could give us. And so we generated these cut lists and job reports, and it gives us all of our purchasing data. It gives us all of our cut parts. It gives us cabinet by cabinet drawings. And so now, that happened a couple of years ago. In preparation for the CNC, we started creating these job binders, which basically the guys get the drawings, cut lists, the purchasing list, the per cabinet drawings. They get a whole binder of information. And I did that in preparation, knowing that when the CNC came out, that would be a big part of it. So we kind of laid the groundwork for that jump 2 years ago. And it made a huge difference when the CNC got here. Really, we just had to figure out how to get that workflow going. So we're really big on processes. Another example is we spent some time really writing down our paint process. And we covered it with everybody, even if they're not painting, if they're prepping things for sand or stuff like that for the paint room, they know what to sand paint level things to, or what to sand something that's getting stained, or how to prep it out. Also, when I brought in my current painter's been with me about 1.5 years. When I brought him in, I handed him that. We covered it. I trained him for a couple of days, and he was on his way because he has everything written down. So what we're really trying to work on is process diagramming everything that we can. And then what I'm really working on this year we're really bad at it right now is sequencing. So getting stuff moving through the shop in the right order. So every department, like an assembly line, is working on the next thing and the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
We hit a lot of downtime because we don't get it sequenced out correctly. And it starts at the top with the project manager getting complete details. So the sequencing of the order of things is important. And that's really where I think we're struggling the most, because it causes some inefficiency. I got guys standing around sometimes, and then we're, up to our eyeballs at work the next week. So we're trying to get it more level and even.
Mm-hmm. Is that just because there's, through the chain of people, is that there's a human touch in all of that sequence? And is it just a slow process, or I guess what's kind of the holdup?
It's me not really directing it as well as I should. And also sometimes we hit cash flow snags. So I maybe can't buy the material that day that I need it. And then that's 2 days late. So that causes a cascade somewhere else. So the CNC is really fast, but the paint room is relatively slow because I can't really rush that process. So we've been diagramming out what we think we should do, which is trying to get all the paint products into him 3-4 weeks ahead of time, and then not running the CNC on those parts until the very end, and then catching it all up at once. That's kind of what we have diagrammed out. It's really just about cash flow is a problem at times. And then also just getting stuff in the correct order. Sometimes it's we're so busy because I don't have a dedicated project manager. A detail's maybe not completely locked down, and we send it to production, and then that causes a few little hiccups. It's where we are in the journey. Just to make it, I think, simple, is the fact that I think I'm really fighting to get out of the mom and pop mentality into like legitimate process manufacturing, so that we are really thinking about it in terms of, we're not a small shop, we are a manufacturing company, and we need
absolutely
we need to get things efficient and on point. And it's all processes. Every time we've done a process, it's paid off huge. It's just going through the whole sequence of things, it takes time, and somebody's sitting down and really working through it and editing it until it's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me a little bit about, I'm always curious because we talk to blue collar guys all the time, flooring companies, electricians, cabinet guys. What does a typical client acquisition look like? Is it mostly referrals? Is someone filling out a free quote? Curious to know sort of how that works.
Right now, I'd say we're mostly referrals, and my network has grown, in the 5 years that I've been here. But also just being open to opportunities. We don't spend a lot of money on. We've dabbled in Google ads, we've dabbled in Facebook ads. We've just never really hit our stride with those.
Totally.
And, I just was always frustrated too with the quality of those leads. A lot of times you really have to sort through them. So we've really focused on canvassing GCs. If we see a project going up, leaving some literature, trying to find out who's building the project, and just staying after that. And then, like I said, we try to land accounts. We really don't target the homeowner. They come to us, and our web presence is good now. We've got 5 years of web presence. We've got a great Google review. I'm actually using a firm to manage our website, and so we get some leads here and there. Yeah, I would say that the primary way we do it is we target GCs. And in fact, we just launched a product line. So our top of the line is full custom cabinets, right? If you can pretty much imagine it, we can do it. And then what we tried to look at, because I had a guy come on board with me, we tried to look at something, because there's a lot of what they call ready to assemble RTA cabinets that come out of Vietnam. And we're kind of hoping the tariffs and stuff kind of play havoc on that.
Is that I don't know if this is a good example or not. Is that similar to the way IKEA kind of does things, where it's ready to assemble?
Yes, that's the idea, right? And so there's a lot of these companies, and they just, there's only a handful of manufacturers in Vietnam and Indonesia and China, and then they just white label this all over the country. So
I see.
if you go to Cabinets to Go or someplace like that, you're probably buying a white label. They're not all from overseas, but there's a ton of cabinetry brands. So what we've tried to come up with is an answer to that. I mean, obviously, we're not going to be on the scale of some massive manufacturer overseas, but we think there's a lot of opportunity because the frustrations that we hear are stuff's missing, stuff's broken, stuff's not right, and we got to wait 3-4 weeks to get this replaced or that replaced. So we're targeting GCs that are kind of on a different level than what we would normally go after. So multifamily, flippers, or even just homeowners on a budget. There's actually a couple of GCs that we have found that we think could really launch that product for us. We've had some great conversations with them, and that's what we hear is, they come in flat pack, we have to put them together. That's a hassle. Stuff's missing. We don't have the right cabinets. Something broke during the install, and now the job's held up. We can't, get this through. So what we're trying to sell is, I think competitively, we're a little bit higher on price, but we're trying to upsell that with the service and just say, look, we're going to be on top of it as far as, kind of semi-managing your project for you. We're trying to lock into some homeowners, and we have a couple of GCs we're talking to now that have a set number of floor plans. Well, we can build packages for them. Every house is going to be either a left version of that or a right version of that. We're going to have some continuity to be able to work with and get some pricing. And then once we start running it, we will have some idea of our numbers. I think our numbers are pretty good. We have good quoting data, but the CNC, I'll give you an example. The CNC has allowed us to make doors out of MDF, and they look amazing. And everybody we've shown it to just loves them. So that has cut our lead time on doors, which our custom doors we don't make. Let's cut our lead time on doors, and then if something's broken or anything, we can make it on the spot. So
yeah, you swap that out quick. Yeah.
And then everything's on we call it a catalog size. So typically on a cabinetry catalog, everything's on a 3-inch increment. So you would make up the difference with fillers here and there, whereas that's different than our custom line where everything's custom fit to the space. But we're excited about it. We just kind of really got it off the ground in November, December, and the GCs we've talked to have been pretty receptive. We're just trying to get it going.
Yeah, from a scalability standpoint, that feels very scalable. So I can see why you're excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm always curious about AI in the trades, in the blue collar world. I know you touched on this a little bit. It sounds like with some software things. Have y'all been able to utilize AI well? Are you currently using it in your business? And if not, what are some of your plans to capitalize on the AI boom right now?
I am an AI-aholic.
Okay.
And what I've worked on it really, I've really, I would say, been dabbling for 6 months, and then the last 2 months I've gotten really serious. So just this week I got an agent. I built an agent that I'm training to implement company wide, but I just started working with it this week. But let me think of the progression, how I did that. So a lot of it was just asking questions and getting data and, hey, write this email. And that's all helpful and everything. But, of course, the limitations with AI is it doesn't remember a lot of things. It is, from the next one day to the next, it doesn't know what you worked on. So that was kind of the impetus for the agent. And so I've actually been using Claude quite a bit.
Yeah, Claude is awesome.
And so I am working on, I'm probably halfway through the development of job flow software for the company. Okay. And it's amazing, but it's time consuming because there's a lot of bugs and so on and so forth to work through. I'm also using Claude for Excel in our spreadsheets. I've had to rework our quoting spreadsheets. They're much easier to use. And then this AI agent, we are just now getting this off the ground, but my intention with it is to make it I haven't given it any free reign. It it only do what I ask it to do. I mean, I know you can let those things go, but I'm going to go real slow into that. I don't want to just hand over all my passwords and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But
Right.
but so far, the few days that I've used it, I've been really impressed. It seems to the agent with, of course, the source file is now starting to remember things, reminding me to do things, and then my goal with it is to start to train it on all of our policies and procedures, and then have it be a repository for everybody that's using it. I'll just give you some frustrations that I really want this thing to do, and I haven't gotten to this point, but just, we were talking about this earlier. I'll get a text from a customer with 3 pictures. I'll get an email from the customer with a couple of pictures and a couple of questions. And then I've got data all over the place from this job to that, and it's the same job. And I've got to remember to, I'll pull it all down and put it in the job folder, and then write a narrative to say, hey, the customer asked these questions. We need to get all this answered and figured out. That's, I would say, one of my biggest frustrations is just the amount of data that comes in, and it's all scattered, and it's not organized, and it's not coherent, and so that's what I'm really hoping I can get some solution to in time. I'm sure I can work that out, but that's a big problem. Is it got texted, but I didn't see it because I thought it was in the email, and then this and that happened, so we've got that issue. But
yeah, that'll be interesting to see how the blue collar world adapts AI. It seems like a lot of those guys are kind of behind the curve from a tech standpoint. So we'll see how that goes. Final question. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, I think that's a mistake. I think that AI is, it's here. Just get in it. I was a teenager in the late 90s, but I remember the .com boom. I mean, the internet changed the world in a way no one ever imagined.
I know, right?
And so I think this is really the .com. I don't hold to all the things that all these experts are saying. It's going to do all these things, but from what I've done and accomplished, even in 4 or 5 months, it's not going away. Like, just start to play with it, start to get comfortable with it, ask it questions. I mean, ask it the most crazy things that you think it won't know the answer to, and obviously check it, because I've caught mistakes and things that I wouldn't do or say or whatever. But it has it's been a great place to bounce ideas out there and get some quick web searches, and I mean, it's way beyond Google. So I encourage everybody, just start playing with it, because it's not going away.
Yeah, I know. Even just Claude, I mean, it's wild. You can ask for a proposal, and within minutes, you've got a full-on, detailed, professional-looking proposal.
It's crazy.
I do agree with you, though. I heard someone say the other day, like, AI, can get you typically to 80%, and then the other 20% needs a human touch. But it still gets you that first 80%, which takes a lot of time. Wanted to end with a final question here, David. We really appreciate your time. So obviously you've had a lot of experience in your career, highs and lows. You've kind of jumped around a little bit. What would you tell someone, a young guy that's looking to either start a company in the blue collar space or maybe acquire a company? What would maybe some advice, some words of wisdom be for someone like that?
It's way harder than you think, but that's okay. As long as you know that, and you can deal with that, and you're going to have a lot more lows than you will highs. And you've got to be able to fight through that. You've got to really be able to control your feelings. There's been so many times, in the early days, late on the mortgage, late on the electric bill. Hey, pay this, it's about to get shut off. In the early days, it is a dogfight. But the idea is to use that as motivation to get out of that. But you've also just got to be able to believe in what you're doing. And that's incredibly hard sometimes when your bank account is 50 cents and you've got $10,000 worth of bills to pay. And, you've got to just keep going. And I can describe it to you, and you can, everybody that's in business will tell you that when you start off, it's just a dogfight for a couple of years. But the goal is to get out of that. But it's really hard in the beginning, especially, but it's worth it. I think, and I think certain people are just so driven. Like, I just can never imagine working a job again. Never.
Yeah,
ever.
I know.
Work for someone else again. So, if that's you, this is the way to do it. It's not necessarily easy. And obviously I think that's reflected in how many businesses don't survive. I think that I think this is just about any business idea is a good idea if you can find the market, find the customers, but you've got to be able to deal with the emotional side of it, I guess is what I would say, and really believe in what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're so right. The highs and lows, it's crazy. It's one week to the next. One moment you're thrilled and happy and working hard, and the next minute you're like, should I just quit?
Right.
Yeah, that's great advice. David, thank you again, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. Where, if anywhere, can our audience find you or Summit Cabinets? Do you all have socials, a website?
So our website is Summit Cabinets TN. It's SUMMITCABINETS TN, like Tennessee.com. And our Instagram's linked on there as well. The hardest thing in the world for some reason, and I was talking to a designer about this yesterday, is going back and getting finished photos.
Mm-hmm.
we have a good collection on there. I've done so much more that's just not on there, but they'd be welcome to get in touch. And then we'd love to help anybody out. And so
awesome, man. Well, we love it. We'll put all that in the show notes as well, so people will find you on YouTube and podcasts. But David, thanks again. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.